We're in Lawrence, Kansas at a Rock Chalk Park, University of Kansas track. I think we're just going to be doing a little strength work. Coach Witt likes to keep it a mystery, so I don't know the exact intervals yet, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
We're getting back to just doing a little bit of strength work coming off of Pan Ams. We've got about 6 weeks before the World Championship, so we're just doing a little bit of strength interval work, a little VO2 max work. So we're going to do 3x800, 2 400s, and 800 and 2 400s. So watch yourself on the first one. I'd rather be slower in the first one than too fast. Okay, we can certainly build through these 8s as we go. Okay, all right. Get a little quick.
I mean, I'm feeling great. I was feeling a little bit tired at Pan Am's. The race obviously didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but I think that got me a lot more pumped for Worlds, just to keep training through and see what I can do there. Hopefully make it through the rounds and just keep going and making this season great.
Good. That's it, nice and smooth, nice and relaxed. Good. 67, that's nice, that's it. I think the biggest thing is, one, he trusts himself a lot. He's so competitive, and he knows our system of, he really fell in love with what we were doing his sophomore year, valued it, trusted it, and this year was just another step for him where he knew that he could be one of the best out there, and just really stepping in with, we learned a lot of things through his sophomore year of how to train him differently than other 800 runners that I've coached in the past, and that he's just very much of a aerobically trained 800 meter runner. And we throw some flashes of speed work, but we don't do a ton of it. And he just has 100% faith that, when he gets to the track, that he's going to be able to outcompete people. Good! Good, 216, good. Got out a little bit quick through that first 150 or so. Yep, set, go. It's been a long year. It's literally going to be 13 months of him competing straight through. So kind of getting his legs back underneath him from coming off of USAs and Pan Ams. We'll get into some quicker stuff as we get closer to the World Championships. But the next thing for us is just learning how to make that next gear change against guys that are going to go out slower and be able to drop at 50. Being able to learn a little bit more against racing those guys and being able to make that specific gear change at the right time.
I've never really found a problem with motivation. I'm pumped. After that Pan Am's, I didn't do as well as I wanted to. That got me even more excited. I always have that energy and just excitement for doing more and more races, so I'm just excited.
64. What's great about the Pan Ams is similar to the Olympic Games. We got a lot of other sports and a lot of other activities going on, and learning how to balance that a little bit better.
I would say, I think a lot of it was kind of like the diet. It was definitely different, but it was my first time going international, and I think just preparing and keeping my head focused on the race rather than all the things going on around me is one of the things that I'm going to have to focus on. But I'll be ready for Qatar, and it's going to be a fun time there as well.
That's it, just keep it strong now. Those are different things that he has to get used to and get adjusted, so it was good that we got through that. He didn't have the performance he wanted, but coming off of it, he learned an awful lot about some of the things that he needs to take care of during those type of trips. That's a good rhythm. 212. Yeah, you're out in 30. You're 30-31, and then you were about 64, and then you kind of kept that rhythm going after that.
Yeah, kind of just like taking care of the legs a little bit better. It's been a long season, so kind of just need to keep staying sharp, stay with the speed, and just hopefully be ready when the time comes around.
And just watch when you got out a little quick. It's more through that probably that second second 300 you started letting your arms be up a little bit higher and starting to sit back just a little bit. So just keep your arms down when you're starting to get a little, in the middle of the interval, and just stay a little bit forwards, but don't press.
I mean, I think a lot of people see that as like being difficult, but for me, like, you have all your times to rest. Like, you just gotta stay on the recovery. You can recover day to day. It's not like anything's lingering around from those earlier races in the season. But it's definitely difficult. You just gotta stay with it and make sure you're focused and getting recovery from day to day, and just kind of looking forward and training to the best you can.
Ready? Go. That's much smoother, that's much better. Good.
Something you're used to?
I've kind of got used to it a little bit. It's definitely a lot easier working out with guys. Kyler and Dylan throughout the summer helped me a lot, and kind of being with them guys made it exciting, more fun to get the workouts in. But I think I've done pretty well at getting through it alone.
67, good, perfect rhythm. Keep that forward and keep it coming.
I think just making sure you're doing everything right, because when it comes down to it, getting through those 3 races is like something you did wrong on a certain day, it's like it's going to affect you on the next day. So I think focusing in and making sure you're doing everything right and trying to maximize that recovery in between races is definitely going to be important. But I think this strength stuff that we're doing, I think I'll be ready for 3 rounds, or just anything that comes at me. So I'll be ready for it.
Okay, you got to finish it strong now. Finish it strong. He's always a competitor, so it's not that hard to kind of change. We don't really have to change anything. It's about getting him to the race and teaching him the tactics of what we're trying to do. And a lot of times I don't have to, hey Bryce, what's your plan? It's very similar to my plan. I mean, we've been around each other for 3 years, so we have similar ideas of what works for him, what he knows works for him. And so I don't have to get him thinking about, hey, are you ready to race? Every time he gets in with a field that's run faster, he just gets excited. His first reaction is, man, that means we're going to run fast. So one of the things that we talked about, I think during the NCAA championships, is, hey, if you make the Worlds, you make the Olympic team, the one thing we got to remember is it's another race, and you've raced against most of these guys. I mean, there was a couple of the internationals, but a lot of the top guys, he raced against them at the NCAA championships. He's raced them at the USA championships. So it's not going to be the first time to see the majority of these guys. So he knows some of the best runners out there, and he's raced against them. So that's going to create some normalcy to it.
The mental aspect of it is definitely hard. It's like, oh man, I've been going for a long time. But if you tell yourself that, of course it's going to feel long. But I think if you get in the right mental state, you're going to feel as fresh as ever and be ready to just keep going. It's definitely a mental thing, and you just got to stay focused.
So this is your first time back to some strength in a while. It feels good early, but it's going to start hitting you. And that one was more even, but then you started to let it settle a little bit. So we got to, keep those first 2 a little bit more in check, and feels a lot better. Just think about kind of how you went out in that second 800. So don't get out hard, just get out smooth. Okay, ready? Go. Nice! Real nice rhythm, real nice rhythm. Get one more like that, so don't press it. The last set, we can push that a little bit on the last one if you're feeling good. Okay. So really it's just about kind of getting back to some strength and just getting some, endurance back in you, because we got a long time before 6 weeks. Okay, set, go. Same as last one. Good! Good, right on! Keep it forward, keep it forward, keep it forward. So watch that first 150, okay? I'd rather see you being more aggressive in the last 300. And let's think about that, being more aggressive in the last 300, okay? Good, smooth with that, good. 32 high, good, keep coming. The heat definitely had a little bit of a play in him, and I think honestly also it's his first one get back into a strength mode, so his rhythm is a little bit faster than it should be. So he got out in the first two 800s a little bit quicker than I'd wanted, and started to pay a little bit of a toll on that fourth 800 that we wanted to hit. And I think it was a combination of just feeling pretty good too early and pushing the pace a little bit, tried to control him, but he just felt that rhythm through the first 300 of both of those 800s and just kind of kept it going. Don't let anything settle, stay aggressive through it. 65 mid, good, keep that coming. We do with the strength 800s early on, we're building a little bit of that fatigue factor, and then we go into a couple quicker 400s to get a little bit of an anaerobic, little lactic work into them, and then you have to come back to that longer interval, and it's going to really kind of mimic the later stages of an 800 or any race, and you're getting a little lactic. You're going to have to fight through that barrier. So it's about learning how to make decisions, those mental decisions in the middle of the race, that you got to fight through it a little bit more and still do it from a mechanical perspective. Hold your mechanics and not let your form kind of break down a little bit. Keep that coming, come on, keep it coming. Up and walk, up and walk, up and walk. Hot? Yeah. You feeling hot at all?
A little bit.
So if you're starting to feel too hot, make sure you pour some on you. Okay. You want some on your head?
Huh?
You want some water on your head? Yeah, it's been a while since we had a hot workout.
Yeah, going in again, I was feeling pretty good, but the heat wore on me. Definitely wasn't used to it, but I think I persevered through it pretty well and just did what I needed to do.
Ready? Go. Well, one thing he talked about what he did in high school, where he didn't do much speed work at all. So we kind of took that forward his freshman year, but he had a little bit of an injury at the beginning of the indoor season, and so we kind of got a little bit of a late start with it. So it was really kind of applying that full concept through the entire year. And his sophomore year, he was a little concerned about doing a full cross-country season because we had redshirted him his freshman year, and a little concerned, like, hey, how am I going to be able to hold on through the entire year, looking at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. And I said, hey, you just got to trust that the strength work is really going to help you, and we're not going to bury you in cross, and we're using this as a foundation for what we're trying to do during the indoor and the outdoor season. So that was a little bit of him gaining that faith of having a full cross-country season. He went through the 10K at the regional meet for us, and realized that as that year progressed, how much stronger he felt by the end at the outdoor championships at NCAAs. He was, I think, 148 mid because we didn't chase times. We hit the regional time and just race for race for wins. And then come regionals, he's really started dropping the time a lot because he got into better competition and really started lighting it up, and he was like, wow, I feel so much better at this time of the year and a lot stronger than I had anticipated I would be. Good, that looked good. That looked good. One to go. The biggest thing I've learned with whether it's getting used to the NCAA championships or getting ready for the Olympic Games or the World Championships, every single race is the same. I mean, you have to go in, there's nuances of who you're competing against, but you have to treat every single meet the same. And if you treat one that much more significantly bigger than another, then you can get overhyped. So learning the tactics and getting used to the different surroundings. Certainly the World Championship stage is going to be different in terms of you're going to have guys that have as good of a kick or better of a kick than Bryce. So it's about positioning, and to me it's going to be going back kind of towards his sophomore year at the NCAA championships. You're with some older guys that are a little bit faster. We got to be a little bit more precise with your tactics and not put yourself in situations that you're gonna have to worry about getting out of, but staying in good contention the whole time and being reactive and confident that you're ready at this stage no matter what. And the biggest thing, he's just excited about feeling good early, and this workout you got to be a little bit more patient, especially in the heat. So I think it's just getting used to the rhythm. We haven't done anything kind of that slow in a while, so it's just relearning the rhythm, relearning the pace, and being a little bit patient.
I think it went pretty good. Got a little excited for the first couple of reps and made it a little difficult towards the end, but it was a good workout. I think all the strength stuff has definitely benefited from me, especially coming from like a more strength side as the other 800 guys. I think I can just hang on through the race and have more of a kick at the end and just feel great through the race rather than just kind of getting more tired toward the end, I guess. But it's definitely benefited me throughout this year. So I think just take one race at a time. Of course, it's going to be like definitely my first time on this big of a stage against some incredible runners, but I'm trying to make the final. Once I'm there, if you just give me in a race, I can be competitive with whoever it is. So I think just focusing and getting through those rounds and see how far I can get and maybe contend for a medal. I mean, who knows? I like to set high goals for myself, but I mean, 141, that's like legendary. Only a few guys in the world have ever done it. But I think I haven't found my peak yet, and I think I'm still just chasing more and more, and I think the peak is definitely long down the road. I think PRs and times like that just kind of come along with competing. So I've always just focused on the competing aspect of the race, and I think that comes along with it, the times and stuff.
His fearlessness is great when it comes to a race like that. I mean, when we were starting to chip away at his closing speed at hitting 52 and 51, his immediate thought is, hey, if we go out faster, that's how I'm going to hit 143. In the right race situation, you know, his strength is going to allow him, I think, to be really fresh and ready to go in that final.
I think just the bond that me and Coach Witt have, I mean, it's been something incredible. He has done so much for me, and just kind of having faith in me and having faith in myself has really helped me build to be a better runner, and just the confidence that I've built from being here has been something special, and all that support just here at Kansas with Witt and Redwine and just all my teammates is, I think, definitely the biggest factor that's helped me improve so much throughout these last couple of years.